Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. This is the Canadian Bowler Show. I'm Michael Patulli, joined here today by my fabulous co-host, Daryl Fitzgerald. How are you doing, Daryl?
I'm good, Mike. Glad to be doing a show. Lots of exciting news, so excited.
How's the Ontario winter been treating you? Getting to the end of February, so we're starting to dream of spring, I guess, is right around the corner.
Yeah, we had a nasty bout of, well, some areas got hit with snow, but some areas got hit with ice rain, and it was pretty crappy for a few days, but it's looking okay now, and hopefully it stays kind of mild. You never know. Ontario is always highs, lows, nothing really in between. So
yeah, I guess you get to kind of look forward to probably the end of next month, early April, even being able to maybe throw some bowls when not so much out here. I've got to wait probably another 2 or 3 months to even think about that, but I digress. Thanks for joining us here today. If you are here, please don't hesitate to hit that like button. Definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed as well. Any sort of interaction helps us out immensely in the long run, so please do hit those buttons. If you're not able to catch us live, we are on YouTube within the day, so you'll be able to catch us out after the show. And if you're a podcaster, we are on all major podcasting platforms within the week, so you'll be able to check us out after the fact on any of those major platforms as well. So as you alluded to, we do have some good news to pass along. There's been a few events that have been played over the last little while because, well, they obviously do bowl in Australia, I guess, most of the year. So big event just went through this week was the BPL. So we got some results. So the winners ended up being the Moama Steamers once again. Did you end up writing down how many titles that is for them, Daryl?
I think that's the third BPL championship for Moama. The individual players in there with Ryan and Aaron combined, they have quite a few. I know Cass, this is her first. For those that you don't know, Cass is the one in the middle. And a good win for Coach Kevin Anderson. Coaching probably two of the best bowlers in the world, arguably. But the Moama Steamers beat the Sydney Lions in the final. But for anybody that was watching it, and I'll talk about it as well, but what a great display of bowls through that week. If you are looking for high caliber bowls, great shots, all that fun stuff, this is where you want to be to watch it. I mean, it's not your traditional bowls, but it is fun, it's fast, it's exciting, and it's got arguably the best run of talent in any of the organizations that you see out there running bowls. So and as you can see, 3 of the tip-top names in bowls, whether it's new or old school. You got Joe Edwards, who retired from international bowls but still plays as one of the BPL All-Stars. She was fantastic. Aaron Wilson, the reigning Commonwealth Games singles champion, as one of them. And then Aaron Sheriff, who I've argued is probably the best bowler on the planet right now in terms of what he's doing and how he's doing it. He actually took down the MVP, and I think he's got, I would say, a handful, if not more, of the MVPs. He just keeps cleaning them up every year. So yeah, just crazy.
Yeah, I think on our last podcast, me and you had not so much an argument, but we had a little bit of a debate on who we thought the top player in the world was. And I think me and you were the two that came to the consensus that Aaron Sheriff would have been our pick, even on indoor or outdoor surfaces, because he's just an incredible player. And I think you do have a couple clips locked up here that we're going to potentially go over, but he played great. The 3 or 4 matches that I ended up watching, he just every single game essentially ends up being a difference maker or making key shots that really help his team out. So as you sort of said, I do recommend, if you go back, watch any of the matches from the BPL. It's a little bit of a different format than traditional bowls, but it's really fun to watch because it's very quick. And then the subbing in and out and all the cut type of stuff like that is always interesting to see sort of the strategies that they do have as the games go on.
Yeah. We got Paul Carter in the chat here saying BPL 17 was amazing. Gary Kelly firing shots straight down the line was a joy to watch. I mean, Gary does like his weighted shots. That's I think that's well known. But the talent pool. I mean, you've got the best from Australia. You've got some of the best from the UK. You've got Ryan Bester from Canada, New Zealand, all over. You're not at a loss for excellent bowls, really.
Yeah, no, like you look at the rosters of pretty much any of the teams before the tournament starts, and there's probably a good 5-6 teams that you could say would have a good shot at winning it if players play right, obviously. So, yeah, so it's one of my favorite ones to pay attention to, and I like that they run it a few times a year at the different places in Australia too. So it's a little bit different each time with the facility that they're at, because you can see some teams play better at the certain places as well. So it's a little interesting to see like almost the home field advantage per se. So that part's cool as well.
100%. Like you said, I have a couple clips that I can throw up. It shows you exactly. I mean, they're all from the same game, which is incredible. But it shows you just the high caliber bowls. And I actually saw someone in one of the Facebook messages on one of the videos, all this talk about Marshall and Sheriff. It sounded like someone was talking about a Western, because every time it was shot made by Marshall, shot made by Sheriff, shot made by Marshall, shot made by Sheriff. So here's a couple of vids to show you exactly what we're talking about.
Oh,
unless you're on his team.
As we said earlier, we
Sheriff?
attack all the hard shots. What's he done here?
Got a big
What do you
shot.
do? Done this? You're going to get
There's some weight. Nice little double takeout. Probably good for 2 or 3.
Things have just gone up a notch.
Ryan Bester looks pretty enthused with that one.
Like, that is, you would do that with a controller.
Yeah, look at the video
That is
game.
what you do. That is not normal.
He stays.
Just lines that up perfectly and takes it out. The touch and the ability to have it sit too is incredible.
I'm expecting
Now it turns
a reply
cheap.
here.
So Alex has only got 5, 4, 3.
Next one we got Alex Marshall. Yeah.
Gee,
Yeah.
that's
He's
close.
had to rush it.
That's close.
He had to rush it. I don't know why they didn't take the time out.
Looks like he's
This one.
coming at it, going at the
Trying to get
jack
half.
there.
He's going to get the jack.
He's done
Starts
it.
celebrating. Made the shot.
Stop it! Stop it!
That's hilarious. He knows he made the shot. Probably go like halfway up the green. He starts to celebrate. So that's pretty incredible. You know, you're pretty much spot on halfway up the green. Oh yeah, look at that.
That's impressive.
Perfectly threw it for 2.
I always know what to say.
Being able to thread the needle with that kind of a weighted shot and trail it all the way to the
Even
ditch,
if
I mean,
you
that's
got the front
fantastic.
ball to the jack, they got one out the wing.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a
like
bit higher.
incredible to be able to just see it and
missing the
make the
front
shot and know you made it.
And that's another one.
Amazing.
His
Yeah,
arm
so essentially the same thing. He's
halfway
celebrating
down.
halfway up the ball's not
That's
even
a
halfway
bad
down there, and he already knows he made the shot. So you know you're just on, or you have that ability when
He is
you can essentially see it
ridiculous.
from the mat,
We're going to a
halfway up
tie
the
break.
green, and you're about to thread the needle, perfectly take the jack to the ditch, get your 2 points, and move on.
There's no toucher.
No
Yeah, he
touch
just knows.
Look at that.
Legend
Look at
right
that
there.
confidence in that man.
Just sliced the jack all the way through. Probably a little bit fortunate.
And
But he's
then Aaron
certainly
Sheriff
Big
with
coming
the
here.
how much better. Here comes Aaron Sheriff.
pick,
Good enough.
bang,
What a
bang.
shot. Goodness me.
Little bit of luck, you might say there, but a fantastic shot nonetheless. I mean, when you're talking about shots being played, excitement of the crowd, all that kind of stuff, there's nothing like the BPL. I mean, you've got the UBC out there, you've got WBT out there, but I don't think it's the same. I think BPL's got all locked up as far as the format, the speed, and having everybody into it.
It's Paul in the chat there again. The noise and excitement is so far removed from Potters. Do you think this is the way forward for the game in general? I would tend to agree with you. Like the noise and the excitement that they have amongst like the music and everything. I love that aspect of how they kind of have the music playing in between the ends, everything like that. And then the crowd itself is very into it and very enthused, cheering the shots on. So I think that's a very positive direction for the game. there's nothing wrong with the way Potters does it, but I think if Potters sort of pushed a little in that direction, it'd probably be a pretty crazy thing for the UK to embrace. But I know it would be probably a positive thing if they did sort of incorporate some of the things that they see are working there, like the music, the excitement of the crowd, everything like that. What do you think, Daryl?
I agree. So I'm always of two minds of the thing. I think there's a place for the traditional and there's a place for the new stuff. So you've got the BPL, UBC, WBT, which I would kind of arc on the new, kind of for TV, using respot, using timed stuff. And then you've got the traditional, which is the long format, lots of ends, no necessarily respot, just, killed ends, possibly replayed ends, whatever it is. I think BPL is the way to go if we want to market the sport. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. The noise, the hooting and hollering, the pub, I guess, kind of atmosphere that I'm thinking about, the stuff that I enjoy going out and watching sports. It's there and it's enjoyable and it's going to bring people in because there's a lot of people that like that kind of format. The crickets chirping, hear a pin drop, don't move or I'm going to back off the mat kind of thing. I think is not necessarily the way to go when you want to market the sport and get people involved. It's just quiet. The exciting shots just don't seem as exciting without that noise. It's just kind of like, oh, you made a great shot. Well, nobody's hooting and hollering, nobody's cheering and clapping like you would for like an awesome play in any other sport. So who cares? Well, in the BPL, you got people cheering and Alex Marshall throwing his hands up halfway down, knowing he's made it, and guys cheering the Bulls in and the crowd into it. It's awesome. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, like Andy Caldwell in the chat was saying, the music in the background doesn't seem to bother anyone when you're playing in the BPLs. Like I would agree with what Andy's saying. That you watch the players, they don't seem to mind whatsoever that there's noise or people moving around, anything like that, compared to a Potters where you often see the players step off the mat and then you can hear the people coughing louder than any other thing else that you have, even the applause of making shots. So yeah, I think the way forward, if we want to market the game better, is definitely moving towards a BPL thing. The fact that it's quick as well, I think, is a huge positive for it, because I definitely a problem we have with Bulls is when you play the sort of traditionalist longer matches, I think you lose people who aren't actual lawn bowling fans or that are maybe there out of curiosity. They maybe aren't going to stick around to watch a 2.5 hour singles match or whatever the type of game is, but they might stick around to watch a 35-minute long BPL type of match where it's just quick, very few ends, things like that. So I don't know, it's something I think you constantly hear the go around where, is this better? Is this better? I'm not sure what even the middle ground would be to try and bridge the two types of styles together. But regardless, I love watching when it comes around because it's just so different than a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love the discussions about it. I hate when people are just one side or the other. I mean, I'll put it out there. I like the traditional format. I like the long format. I like fours. A lot of people don't like it because, you have two bowls, it's so long, there's so many people on the green, it can drag out. And I totally understand that. But I love the BPL too. And I love the WBT and watching that stuff. You don't have to dismiss one for liking the other. They can both exist. I personally, at this moment, unless I hear some other format or some other idea, I don't think there's just one solid format that will solve all the problems. I still think the long format, 18 ends, 21 ends, whatever you play in your country, because there's different versions. Some play 16. Those kind of versions, 21 up for singles, I think those ones you will ultimately find the better bowler over the long period of time. But the BPL is more exciting. It's quicker. It fits into a television format, a streaming format, a marketing format, where the other one doesn't necessarily. So one might be for finding the best player in the world, finding who the better player is. The other one is definitely for getting those fans, getting those people that don't know what the sport is actually interested, and then they can find the other format if they really want to. The long format just doesn't appeal to getting eyeballs to stay. If you want to sit for 3 hours in silence, not saying anything, and then just kind of like, that was a great ball. Oh, fantastic. I mean, that's not what I'm there for. I mean, I don't watch traditional, like, I won't say traditional sports, but like the major sports here in North America, to be quiet. I want to go and heckle people and shout stuff and have a couple beers and be a little bit of a dick in the stands. So I mean, it's a little fun, right?
That's a great synopsis of what you want to do when you go to a major sporting event. Have a couple beers, be a dick in the stands. That's terrific. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think it's something that sport-wise we probably need to embrace or try and move towards, because any of the kind of sports that I'd say are similar to bowls, like target sports, like if we're talking about cornhole is really popular in North America, darts is really popular over in Europe. They've definitely embraced the crowd aspect, sort of the advertising, and then B, the sort of partnerships with drinking, bringing people in to have fun and sort of have the party atmosphere. I think embracing it sort of as they have with the BPL is a good way forward. Don't necessarily need to go the full route of darts where the people are screaming 180 or whatever it is, although that'd be kind of cool if we had a bowls equivalent of 180. But regardless, I like to see if we could sort of start moving towards that, so that we could have a Daryl Fitzgerald in the stands who's drinking his beers and being a little bit of a dick to the players playing. But that's probably good to even motivate the players itself. If you had people in the stands sort of heckling you, everything like that, it would be kind of fun atmosphere to sort of experience.
Yeah, some of the chat that we've got going on here. Paul Carter, I took my wife to Potter's and her only gripe was that it was too long a time to be sat in relative silence. I agree. Cam shouting, if you want to market the sport, BPL and shorter formats are the best way, but I don't think it works for national events. That's the mindset I have is, I mean, if you're looking for the ultimate best bowler in your country or whatever, I don't think running a BPL type format or a WBT necessarily. I'm not a big fan of sets for finding that as well. It's good to condense it, and noise is no problem at the nationals. I think the golf mentality of, you know, everybody dead silent, I don't think it's necessary. If you're focused enough and you know what you're doing, the noise shouldn't be a problem. I prefer noise. I play better when things are going, we're having a good time. You know, my teammates are riled up and cheering me on, and maybe there's music in the background. I feel relaxed and focused in that regard. It's when it's dead silent and then you can hear somebody, you know, kick a door open or the door creak behind you. It's kind of, that's more annoying than anything, I think.
Yep, no, you hit it on the head. You could have a marching band going while I was playing. If it was consistent going on the whole time, it wouldn't bother me. But if it's dead silent and someone starts coughing or their phone goes off, that's way more noticeable and distracting than if you kind of have that ambient noise playing in the background, sort of just keeping you there. Like, I would think if we could have sort of the ambient noise music playing, it's definitely not going to distract players, and it probably will make a little bit more of an atmosphere where people will be chatting, sort of getting a little more riled up or rowdy during the games too. So maybe that's some feedback we could try and implement in the Canadian game, is get that music playing at all times so that we sort of do have a little bit more of the atmosphere to move towards that sort of BPL style.
Agreed.
All right, so that's what we got for BPL. People in the chat have sort of alluded to it, that I guess Andy said that the semifinal was a really good game as well. So if you want to go back and check out any of the games, they are there, I believe, on YouTube. Bowls Australia also, you can find it there. So definitely go back and check any of the matches out. There's lots of good ones. Like, I think Paul at the very beginning alluded to Gary Kelly throwing some runners down the middle. So there's a couple clips where I think he does like a triple or quadruple takeout, throws an absolute laser of a drive. So there's definitely some really cool shots if you want to go check out the other videos that they do have from the entire tournament there. So the other results we wanted to pass along during the show here is North America. The South Central Open just wrapped up, I believe, on like Tuesday or Wednesday this week. So it's a fairly large scale event that they run in the United States every February. So Central Open is the central south of the United States, obviously. Arizona, I guess, is what it covers. It's such a, I find their designations hard to follow because it's like, if you look at the map of the United States, Southwest Division is California, which like they call it that, but then South Central to me, Arizona's pretty much on the west, and so that's where like that's their primary part of it. So I always find it so confusing when you look at their map. That South Central Division does stretch east towards the central part of the country. So anyways, so Central Open was in Sun City, Arizona. So I've played there many times. I love Sun City. Definitely will probably find myself playing in this tournament at some point in the fairly near future, but we do have the results there. So if Daryl pops it up. So this was the singles. So the winner of the singles was friend of the show, Aaron Zangel. So Aaron won the singles. He beat Charlie Herbert in the final. I believe they're both on Team USA. So that was probably a good match, I imagine, between them. Third place in the singles was Corey Voss. And then fourth place was Tom Roth. In the second flight, Bob Schneider ended up defeating Dean Warmington. And in the third flight, Lauren Dion defeated Robert Busiglio. So that was sort of the top of the mountain there for the men's singles. You flashed to the next photo.
I did. I jumped the gun.
Yes, you did. So then that would be the men's pairs. So that again is in that photo you're seeing Aaron Zangel and Lauren Dion. Do you have the men's pairs results up in front of you, Daryl?
I do not, but I can quickly take a look.
It's the only one that I don't think I have written down.
Give me a quick second here.
But yeah, that's Lauren and Aaron. So what we kind of noticed with the results is it looks like they kind of were pairing up the Bowls USA team. So the players that are going to World Bowls in August. So they've already announced their teams. And it looks like they're getting them a little bit of extra practice together. So that was kind of cool to see. So in the pairs there, like Aaron and Lauren played together, and they also played together in the triples with their other Team USA member, Bill Brault. So it was actually pretty cool to see that Bowls USA uses it as almost a development or way to get their players to play together a little bit more. Something that I think Canada almost needs to do or try and work towards is getting the people to play together more if they know that they're going to be playing an international event.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You're able to find the pairs information?
Yeah, so we have, as you said, Dion and Zangel were the champions. We have Dunn and Gorlick were second place. Nelson and Fitzgerald, third place. And not me as Fitzgerald, but and then Davis and Leonard were fourth place on that championship flight. Second flight champions, I think, were Fall and Filipiak. So I think that's good.
Yeah, no, you got your second cousin there. Had a respectable showing in the tournament, so
that's right.
So next, what's your next photo? I can probably go off to that. So that's men's triples. So the winners of the men's triples were Jim Filipic, Bill Pearson, and Gord Fall. Second place was Aaron Zangel, Lauren Dion, and Bill Brault. It's a pretty darn good tournament there for Aaron and Lauren well, I think Aaron won 2 of the 3 and got second place in the other one. So very good showing out of Aaron there. Third place in the triples was Nick Schneider, Charlie Herbert, and Bob Schneider. So good to see Bob also Bob and Charlie both are also on Team USA. So again, them finishing third, pretty respectable showing. And then fourth place in the men's triples was Bill Wilkinson, Frank Napoli, and Calvin Darling. I guess in the men's events, if we're highlighting it, there was quite a few Canadians scattered through the events. So I think it was Tom Roth finished fourth in the men's singles. So good for him. I think we had Bezanson was playing in there with Mike Wagner from your home club there. I think they won like a third flight or something like that. We had like Ernie Mead from out in Saskatchewan was out there, and he kind of finished in around the middle in a couple events. And then I think we had Roy Riggy from Alberta. I think they were like second flight or third flight in the men's triples. They did pretty good, and same with the pairs. So it's cool to see the different men's names out there coming out for that tournament.
All right. Ladies singles?
Yep. So for the ladies singles, just scrolling around with my list here. Michael should have organized this list much better before. So the winner was Julia Gallo from, I believe she's in California. I've heard a little bit about her coming on the scene this year. Second place was Rosa Bear. And then Vicky Balcom from Canada, out in Nova Scotia there. And fourth place was Mary Wright from out in BC. So congrats to everyone there in the ladies singles. I love the YouTube sponsorship on that shirt there.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Terrific placement. For ladies pairs, I don't actually know who won the events because we went with sort of the pictures and it told us who the top four teams were. So unless Daryl has that easily accessible, I'll list off who the top four teams were. So in this photo here, you're seeing Sandy Wall and Mary Wright. And then Mary Speece and Marie Beath, former Canadian, now American, Joan Robbins and Ava Lee, and then Val Tilton and Jean English. So that's who I had on the website as their top four teams. And
in that order is what they won. So you're good.
Perfect. So yeah, Sandy Wall and Mary Wright ended up winning that. John Seitman's in the chat confirming just what you said for me as well. So that was the top four in the order that I listed it. So I knew I had it listed correctly and I didn't even know it, I guess. And then we went to the women's fours. So that was the one thing we were sort of discussing is the ladies play fours, the men's play triples. Not sure why there's a difference in format, but that's just the way it goes, I guess. The winners, as you're seeing in the photo here, Donna Law, Claire Day, Lorraine Bezanson, and Sharon Perry. So three-fourths of that team are Canadians. So congrats to those people. Second place was Alice Birkinshaw, Katia Moore, Ava Lee, and Ray Iverson. And then third place was Sue Roth, Ginger Harris, Brenda Wright, and Mary Wright. And fourth place is just Jan Robinson's team. So multiple people from Alberta on that one. So good Canadian content across the board. Great to see Canadians going to America to play in that tournament because I can't speak more highly of the greens in Sun City. If you have not bowled there before, I highly recommend going to either South Central Open. They also do events in January, the Salisbury Singles and Pacific Pairs, Mixed Drinks. So there's lots of great tournaments there during the year. If you ever have been curious or wanted to give it a go, definitely check out South Central Division's website. They do have their schedule up each year with information about all the tournaments.
And generally the weather's nice down in Arizona. So if you like dry heat.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an off year. Like the photos I've been seeing in people's posts on Facebook looks like it's been cold and kind of wet even, which is really weird for Arizona because it's usually probably 20 degrees and sunny every single day. So definitely a bit of an anomaly, but I guess everywhere has kind of got weird weather patterns every once in a while. So Okay, so that wraps up our coverage of South Central. I think you had some other information you wanted to pass along. Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't really know that this was going on at the time, but then I saw some pictures started to come out, and the Asia Bowls 2023. So all the Asian region countries that bowl come together and have their own multi-nation type of competition. So you've got teams from like the Philippines, Thailand, Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, those kind of things going on. So I have some results from that. I'm just going to go by what is labeled as the official results from their Facebook page. In the men's triples, we had gold going to the Philippines. We had silver going to Thailand, bronze going to, I guess they split bronze, so bronze going to Hong Kong and Malaysia respectively. In the women's singles, the gold went to Malaysia, the silver went to Hong Kong, and then the bronze was split between Philippines and Thailand. In the women's fours, we had gold going to India, silver going to Malaysia, bronze going to Hong Kong and Thailand, respectively. And just wanted to make a point out here that the gold India team is the same Indian team that won gold in the Commonwealth Games. I mean, they're on a roll. India is really showing their strength and that they have developed solid players that can do it over events. You never know when one team peaks at a World Bowls or a Commonwealth Games, are they going to be able to do it again? I think India should be on everybody's radar as a really strong team. I mean, they beat a Malaysia team that had, you know, like Lena on the team, and Malaysia is really strong as well. Men's pairs, gold went to Philippines, silver went to Malaysia, bronze went to Thailand and Singapore, respectively. And I think the overall, based on all the placements, if I read the whole breakdown, they have overall country wins, and I think Malaysia took that distinction as well, because they either came first or second in, I think, almost every discipline. So really cool to see. I wish I had a lot more information on it. There are pictures out there on Facebook if you want to take a look. You know, we want to know about everything that's going on in every corner of the world, and highlight the cool bowls things that are going on. So if you are in that area, you can check it out and show them some love, because bowls needs it and they need that support. So Asia Bowls 2023 in the books, and hopefully I can keep my eye out and figure out when it's going on the next time, and we can get some early previews of what's going on there.
Yeah, no, that was a good catch by you to sort of pick that up. I'd sort of seen in passing that the Indian team had won the fours for the ladies there, and just this week I saw a video that was done by BBC sort of about their win at the Commonwealth Games. So we'll maybe try and share that video, because it is a very interesting video about that team and sort of how bowls in India started semi-recently and how they've kind of developed it to being a point where they're one of the top fours teams in the world, like to win Commonwealth and then win their Asian games. Like, they're obviously proving that they're a very good team. So we'll share that video later on here, because it's great to highlight bowls from all over the world, and specifically the success stories like India is having there in bowls. So it's great to see.
Mind if I do my shameless plug of WOBA again?
Oh yes, you take the reins.
So again, this year, 2023, one of the biggest events that's in Canada outside of the nationals itself, WOBA, will be running. The dates coincide with another event that happens right before it. So there's a larger men's pairs tournament that happens at my club, Heritage Greens, in Kitchener, Ontario. The Bill Becker Memorial happens on the 15th of July, and then WOBA happens on the 16th, 17th, and 18th. One of the reasons I wanted to highlight it is, one, to get the dates out there. So, you know, mark your calendars if you're making plans for bowls during the year, if you're looking to maybe take a couple days and have a bowls trip, think about coming to Ontario and playing in WOBA. A lot of great people like myself will be there. If you want to meet a bowling superstar personality in the YouTube space, I will be there, and Mike will hopefully be there. We'll see. That's TBD, to be determined. But it's a fantastic event. It is changing this year, so I wanted to throw that out there. They are making it 5-a-side. I think that is a really super interesting change. There's a lot of back and forth on whether it was good to change it to 5-a-side or keep it 4. Add in an extra discipline, so every team will have to juggle their lineup to play singles, pairs, trips, and 4s. It'll be more along the lines of an international event. So if you do go to like a Commonwealth or World Bowls as a team, you go 5-5, and then you break up that team to play in every discipline. That's how it is traditionally. So WOBA is changing to that format, which is kind of cool. It does mean that every team that's out there that has competed in the past as a 4 will now have to find that extra person. And any new team will have to find 5 people to fill all those slots as well. But I have been waiting a long time for a 5-a-side type of tournament to come in, and finally we have WOBA doing it, which I think is super exciting. I think it's going to actually make the tournament better. I think it's going to make the format a lot more interesting and a lot more competitive. You have to think about who you're putting in what role and how you're mixing everybody up, and that you're playing with the right people. That's really cool too. It's a whole dynamic of stuff. Big prizes will be given out. As always, we've got Dan Milligan sponsoring it. As always, he's been a stalwart of the event, and MVP Sports, his business has been supporting it for, I don't even want to guess because it'll probably be insulting, but I'll just say 30 plus years, let's say. I don't know how long he has been, but it's been forever. And it's a great event, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that whole week. So if you are looking to come and you're thinking, oh, is it worth it? There's stuff going on right through the week in the local area. So it'll make your time worth it if you really want to get a lot of bowls in. And as Ryan said in the chat, music will be playing. We will be making it more of a BPL type atmosphere, music playing, lots of stuff going on, hopefully a lot of cheering and fun stuff happening. That's the idea, is to make it as fun as possible, as exciting as possible, as enticing as possible. And if you're thinking about coming, come. I can't recommend it enough. Hopefully that's enough of an advertisement for now to get people to actually look. Go to wobaweek.com, check out all the information.
So you failed to acknowledge that it's not very hard to find a beer around WOBA either. So if that's up your alley, it's not very difficult to find yourself a alcoholic beverage of your choosing. They have great variety. I can attest, being there multiple times in my life, it's probably my favorite tournament that there is. So as Ryan's saying in the chat, if you're someone who wants to make a Lawn Bowls week out of it, it is probably your best opportunity to play in Canada, because as you said, there's the Betger before, you get WOBA after, and then you could do the Milton Skins after that. So there's a great tournament in Milton after WOBA's done as well. So if you're wanting to get 3 pretty big time tournaments within roughly about a week of each other, it's a great way to get a lot of bowls in over a 1 week period. That's usually why I end up out there, because I can get a little bit of funding through my province and pay about half of my ticket to get there. So you'll likely see me out there. Don't think we've said it on the show yet, but I am expecting my second child this summer. So thank you, Daryl. So a little bit of an adjustment to my bowls season. My kid is due in August, so complicates me playing at nationals, but WOBA's in July, so I might be able to swing going away for a couple of weeks before my life significantly changes, obviously. So definitely that's why we're on the maybe to be determined, but I'd say it's probably a probable I'll be ending up at WOBA, because I can't not go and sort of have that fun aspect to the summer, and maybe get my one big tournament in that I'm allowed this summer. So
that beer is going to go a lot grayer, a lot quicker, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going, but that's one kid, so you're going to have two.
Two kids will be jet gray in no time.
Well, I've said it to him before, but live, congratulations, Mike. It's awesome to hear. I mean, he's just making the Batuli dynasty even bigger. Hopefully they pick up bowls and away you go, right?
Yeah, I got a daughter, so I got a mixed pairs partner, and we'll see what I end up with this summer. If it's a boy, maybe I get myself a pairs partner, or I'm gonna be mixed triples for life or something like that. I'm not sure.
You're gonna be a ladies pairs coach, possibly. There you go.
Yeah, maybe. In the chat, Paul was asking about if there's going to be any online coverage for the actual WOBA. I don't know if there's online coverage. We may do some streaming of it. It wouldn't terribly surprise me if Daryl and myself can figure that out, especially if I'm there and we're both there. I think we'll probably end up streaming games. There might not really be commentary because we might kind of do it on the side of the green and we'd be playing at the same time. But I guess the intention would be that there'd probably hopefully be some streaming. We do have the capabilities to do it. It's just logistically a little bit of a problem if we're both playing in the event, but we probably will figure it out. So I'd say a definite maybe that there's going to be some streaming of WOBA.
We have some good ideas, I think, and there's some potential ideas on how to do it. You never know when, in lieu of commentary, you might just mic up the skips and let them go at it, and parental advisory on that stream. But maybe we'll do something like that. It would be kind of cool, and who knows, we may have some spectators that can run the stream. It's not terribly difficult. So if we do potentially have a stream, we will definitely promote it on the site. So keep a lookout out on our socials. We will probably mention it on the show if we can as well. So yeah, just if you hit that subscribe and hit that like, you'll get the notifications, and we'll let you know when that's happening.
Well, I guess that's a shameless plug to, if you haven't already, hit that like, comment, subscribe button here today. We do appreciate any sort of support we can get. As you're saying, following, we're going to definitely get those notifications when we do go live or potentially have any updates about us streaming in the future. Was there anything else you wanted to cover today, Daryl?
No, I think that's good. I really wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. I just wanted to say we had our 3,000 sub show previously, but personally, this journey of doing a podcast has been interesting, I'll say. Lots of highs, lots of lows, lots of struggles to keep it going and make sure that we have the stuff that you guys want to see. We are hoping to start to ramp more stuff up this summer. So fingers crossed everything goes as planned, and we have a lot more content out there for you guys, not just the show, but also everything else that goes into it, like our coaching vids and whatnot. So please just tell your friends, tell your family, get them to tune in, check out the show, check out the check out all the videos. It really does help, and spreading the word of mouth is the best thing that can go for us right now. So thanks again for tuning in. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo everything Daryl said. It's been quite the journey, and we appreciate any support we get here. So thank you again for tuning in. And with that, may all your bowls be touchers.